Fam, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube with a breaking update. Jalen Milroe has declared for the NFL. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much for joining us on this special video presentation. Thank you very much. What do you guys think? This was we saw kind of the messages earlier today, about him going to Instagram and him going to Instagram, posting a picture of him on Yaffle, and then posting a picture, inside the Alabama end zone. And today he declares for the NFL draft. I mean, we're asking what was going to happen with Jalen Milroe, what he was going to do. And today he declares for the NFL draft. I appreciate you guys being here. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it again. Give me the 2 seconds while I get loaded up real quick. All right. So first thought, what is your initial reaction to Jalen Milroe declaring for the NFL? It was probably the most polarizing thing that we had to talk about all season long because of the decline of his overall play, right? As we got more towards the back end of the season, we started to realize that he was really the nucleus of the issue that, related to Alabama football and them, ultimately losing 4 games on the season. I think you can point to every single game that Alabama lost this year. You point to the catalyst being Jalen Milroe. You could point to the catalyst being the offensive line. But in all football, good teams, bad teams, it revolves around the quarterback play. And it took me a long time, too, to get off the Jalen Milroe train. It was difficult because I have so much respect for him as a person. But on the field, when I really had to step back and start looking at how, he was performing and based on his stats, and nothing that I'm ever going to say about him has anything to do with his character, because I think he's a wonderful person. He's very accomplished. I mean, he even got his master's degree here at the University of Alabama. And I think he, in terms of exemplifying leadership and what the capstone is all about, it certainly speaks Jalen Milroe. But on the field play is another thing. And I think, as we continue to watch Jalen Milroe in his career at the University of Alabama, it wasn't what Alabama's offense and the overall team needed to take that next step. And it was probably really challenging for Coach Kalen DeBoer to step in with this situation and feel, okay, I'm excited about Jalen Milroe and the elements that I have to work with. But I still am never going to forget, Kalen DeBoer not subbing out Jalen Milroe throughout the season. I mean, I think there was a few times where you could have went with a different quarterback, and maybe that's something he thinks about. Maybe it's something that he doesn't. But especially in that last game, you saw the fire in his eyes. Maybe that was just a way to be like, hey, I'm going to let this guy finish out because of what he's done here at the University of Alabama. I have no idea. But Jalen Milroe has declared for the NFL draft, and I think when we look to Alabama and the quarterback for the future, and we'll bring up a graphic that shows the quarterbacks. You already know the quarterbacks. By the way, Keelon Russell is playing at 3 p.m. Central Time on one of the ESPN channels. Someone posted inside the comment box. But you also have this playoff game that's taking place as well. So if you want to watch Alabama's, or at least one of the quarterbacks vying for the starting position, tune into ESPN or whatever the channel's on here in a minute. Let me ask you this, okay? Because what was crazy about Jalen Milroe is this last game against Michigan. And if you look at the back end of how Jalen Milroe played, he was trending the opposite way, right? Down. But the crazy thing is like, if he opted out, we are going to talk smack about him for opting out. But then he plays in that game, and it was literally the worst case scenario for him to be playing. Every single thing went wrong. Throwing interceptions, following the ball. Like, it never stopped. Oh, my goodness. So now, let me ask you, because I want some feedback inside the comment box. What do you see Jalen Milroe's draft grade or draft stock being? And let's put this in terms of, let me ask you, inside the comment box, and I've looked at draft grades as well. And I've seen him as still a first-round pick somewhere. Where do you think, let me ask you this. I'll put it simple, okay? Do you think that Jalen Milroe will be drafted in the first round? Yes or no? Type Y for yes, type N for no. T, if you could add that inside the comment box, I appreciate it. I felt that before the Michigan game, And when I look, and I bring up Mel Kiper, probably because he's one of the most notable guys. There's many different guys, like Daniel Jeremiah is another one that, puts out draft grades, and so does Pro Football Focus, and all these guys do. But Mel Kiper had him as one of the top 5 quarterbacks, but I think he left off Quinn Ewers on that board. He looked nice last night, 322, 3 touchdowns, right? But now I have to say that I don't think he's a first-round guy. Now, there's a couple things that could save Milroe. Number one, the NFL Combine. He goes out to the Combine, he runs like a 4.3 or a 4.2. I mean, shoot, he was clocked out at, 22 miles an hour against LSU, right? Plus, he'll interview well, leadership component, all that good stuff, right, that he exemplifies. So I don't know if he goes, and think about the team. And if you watch the NFL this year, and if you're an NFL fan, man, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. 100%. So I don't know if he's going to go in the first round. I would probably, I guess I'm going to say yes, that he will. I have no idea where it goes. I mean, I could see maybe the Jets, right? Who the Jets going to take? A lot of people. And let me ask you this too. Where do you think, and who would you compare Jalen Milroe to in the NFL? I'll probably see a lot of Anthony Richardson, right? Maybe some Lamar Jackson. Who's another? A lot of people say Taysom Hill, right? New Orleans Saints, who's like a quarterback type tight end. The thing about Anthony Richardson is, man, Richardson was really inconsistent as well. I think Milroe has more heart than Richardson. I mean, Richardson basically took a game off this year, said that he didn't want to play or whatever. So I think he has more time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Jalen Hurts. No, I don't think so. That's an interesting comparison. I don't know. I think somewhere of like a blend of like Anthony Richardson and Nicole saying definitely not Lamar. Malik Willis. All right. From is saying straight up nobody, Kyle. Steve Taylor's saying between Richardson and Jackson. Hurts was a horrible. That's the thing, Buck, that I always talk about. What's up, Kimberly? I see you inside the comment box. Geno Smith, Geno Smith's doing work still with the Seahawks. I mean, call it what you want. I mean, the guy still is he's productive. All right, what is your let me switch it like this now. In terms of your like being relieved about him not transferring or about him not coming back, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you like 10, like thank goodness this is over? I kind of am, to be honest. I think as a content creator that lives and dies off, the YouTube channel, man, it was really tough to cover this young man because it wasn't a good fit. You know who said it best was probably Damian Harris. It was like Jalen Milroe and Kalen DeBoer. It was just a marriage that just didn't work, and sometimes relationships don't work out, and it's done. I think Damian Harris said that he should transfer. I know there's a lot of people feel that he should transfer rather than go in the NFL. I'm just kind of relieved that it's over, to be honest, and that we can kind of turn the page to another quarterback. And look, there's a lot of people that Bill O'Brien wanted him to be I don't know if he wanted him to be a running back or a wide receiver or whatever. He's going to be a quarterback, period. That's what he wants to be. And, he'll have a shot in the NFL, and there'll be an organization that gives him a shot to be a quarterback. Clearly, that's what he wants to be. That's what he is. But Bill O'Brien, I don't know. He said what he had to say. And so did Milroe. Milroe said that, there was a time where he didn't even believe in him. Now, you look to Alabama's quarterback room this next, and I think Alabama fans will be more optimistic about this coming season following a 4-loss season because of the fact that now you have a quarterback, whoever starts, and we asked this morning, I think it was 56% said that it'll be Ty Simpson. Do we have the quarterback room ready, T? All right. I don't know where we're at on the board right here. There are a couple different slides. I'm on the Michigan, Alabama one. Oh, here we go. All right. So here we go. So here's the Alabama quarterback room. When I asked this earlier today, who do you think, and just go ahead and type inside the comment box for Ty Simpson, if you think he's gonna be the starter, type T. If you think it's going to be Austin Mack, type A. And if you think it's going to be Keelon Russell, type K. Now, I'll talk about each of these quarterbacks now that Jalen Milroe has decided to go to the NFL. And I think where you start is with Ty Simpson. Now, Ty Simpson has been here for quite some time. I mean, the guy, and these graduation years reflect 2025. So Ty Simpson, like today, is a redshirt sophomore. But by the start of the season, he'll be a redshirt junior, if that makes sense. Same with Austin Mack. Keelon Russell will be a freshman, right? I see a variety. It's probably going to be more I think you see it as a two-horse race between Ty and Keelon Russell. Let's not discount Austin Mack just yet. Let's talk about each of these quarterbacks and what they each bring to Alabama's team. Now, with Ty, he's been here a long time, as you know, but I have to say a few times because there's a lot of people that don't know all the specifics. Ty Simpson's father is the head football coach at UT Martin, right? So think about all the coaching that he received coming up. Think about the schematics that he understands in terms of reading coverages. If you go back and watch some of the tape on Ty Simpson, while he does have a live arm, and what I mean by that is he's able to make really good throws. He has a really good intermediate game from what we've seen in a small sample size. But don't forget that Ty Simpson also has a lot of athleticism. Is he a dual threat quarterback? Not necessarily, but he can move. Absolutely. I mean, in the spring game, I think he had a 45-yard touchdown. In high school, I get it's high school. He didn't play at the most elite against the most elite competition, but man, this guy can move, and he's got good size too. He's like 6'2", 210 pounds. So don't sleep on his athleticism. Like, don't think that he's just a guy that's going to just be stationary in the pocket. He can make plays. I think of that. Think of this play when you go back and watch this. This is your homework, okay? Ty Simpson versus Mercer. Pocket collapses. Okay. Ty Simpson's able to kind of evade, chopped his feet, and then threw a deep ball downfield. Do you remember this? It was a very impressive play. I can't remember. Was it Josh Cuevas who jumped up and caught that ball? I forget. But Ty, like I've seen him. He has a really good arm, good athleticism. Ty Simpson, certainly the front runner to be the quarterback for Alabama. And look, when we say quarterback, does that mean for the entire season? I don't know. I mean, but I think there's going to be competition, and there should be. And look, it is up to Coach Kalen DeBoer, and this is where it gets kind of confusing. It's up to him to play the best player at that position. Now, what's confusing about Ty Simpson is the fact that he didn't play this year under Jalen Milroe. And if you're like, damn, if he's not better than Jalen Milroe, well, shoot, then it's got to be Keelon Russell. But before we talk about Keelon Russell, let's talk about Austin Mack. So Austin Mack came in here. He's like 6'7". Some people said that he's closer to 6'8". I don't know. He's taller than any other quarterback that Alabama has had, in, I don't know, decade or longer than that. Who are other tall Alabama quarterbacks that are 6'7"? I don't think there's any. He was a guy specifically brought in by Coach Kalen DeBoer, right? He was a guy that was originally committed to Coach Kalen DeBoer at Washington before he came over, right? So I think he is the dark horse in this room. It seems to be that he has athleticism too, that he has a big arm. The only opportunities that we saw from him this past year was him getting in. Check this out. This is interesting. He came in and he threw a touchdown pass to Rico Scott. By the way, pay Rico Scott right now. Rico Scott stock is on the rise. Austin Mack came in and threw a touchdown in the only game that he's played. Ty Simpson has been here 4 years, and he hasn't thrown a touchdown. He hasn't that many opportunities, but Austin Mack came in and threw a touchdown. Was it a wobbly ball? Yeah, but it was a touchdown, okay? I kind of like Austin Mack. Not a lot of people are talking about him, right? Pay Rico, that's our hashtag, Jarvis. All right. Okay, so now the third quarterback is Keelon Russell. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about Keelon Russell? Freshmen come in here, 5-star freshmen have come in the past. Two that I really remember grabbing a lot of attention are Tua Tagovailoa and Bryce Young, okay? And I think with each of those guys, if I remember correctly, it was probably around the same excitement level. Tua was like, I remember watching highlights from Tua in high school. I was like, damn, this dude is coming half around the globe to be the quarterback here, right? And Bryce, at a Matter Day, I remember him watching, man, who was he? He was going up against DJU, remember, from St. John Bosco. Man, and they were battling it out for the California championship, right? we were excited about those quarterbacks. But I think what gives us a little bit even more excitement is the fact that Keelon Russell comes in and I think those players were equally as decorated. I think Bryce Young must have won the MVP at the Elite 11. So did Tua. But Keelon Russell won all the awards. And I think when people ask me this, and I want to ask you this as well, these are the quarterbacks, and I'm very open with this. I'm not embarrassed by this at all. I've been here living in Tuscaloosa since 2017. Okay, 2017. These are the quarterbacks that I have covered, physically covered, like watched, talked about, all that stuff. Jalen declared for the NFL, yes. So, and we're talking about Keelon Russell, the next quarterback at Alabama. So the quarterbacks that I covered were Jalen Hurts. Then I covered Tua Tagovailoa. Then I covered Mac Jones. Then I covered Bryce Young. And then I covered Jalen Milroe. Okay. Yes, he declared today. And someone inside the comment box was like, well, who does Keelon Russell compare to out of those quarterbacks? Nobody, in my opinion. Let me ask you, is there a quarterback? I don't think they have. Is there a quarterback that Keelon Russell is comparable to over the last, 10 seasons, 12 seasons here at the University of Alabama? I don't think so. I don't think that he's comparable to Bryce. I don't think that he's comparable to Milroe. I don't think that he's comparable to Mac Jones. I think that he's it would be like, and I get it, and this is going to be a really, really big statement because of what he's doing in the NFL. But Jaden Daniels and Keelon Russell seem to be similar. It'd be kind of like, I see a lot of Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels in Keelon Russell. Alabama hasn't had a quarterback like that. And that's why on this morning show that I was talking about is like, while Kalen DeBoer's first year here was less than stellar, let's call it bad, let's call it a failure. 4 games doesn't slide over here. You can't lose 4 games over here, period. But I think what leads us to be so optimistic is about Keelon Russell coming in and really the first quarterback that Kalen DeBoer can bring in and operate his offense at the highest level. Bring in a quarterback that has mobility, but is the type of quarterback that can spin it around. Not just 2 wide receivers are going to catch footballs. You're going to have a variety of wide receivers catching the ball, being happy, right? Whether that's Isaiah Horton from Miami, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Jalen Mbakwe, right? List goes on with the wide receivers. So Keelon Russell, I think, brings a lot of excitement. And by the way, will someone post the TV broadcast where he's on, right? Calvin Jackson's like, you're reaching on that one. No, I know, I'm serious. Like, who else? If you've seen Keelon Russell play, and we're going to have a chance to watch him at 3 p.m., who would you say he's comparable to? All right. And I love Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is big time. And so you have the playoff game starting at the same exact time as Keelon Russell's Under Armour game. And I think Dejoun Lee is playing as well, right? It's on ESPN too, all right? So look, these were all the transfers from the wide receiver room. So when you see this, you're like, oh my God, like all these guys left. Who are Ty Simpson and Keelon Russell and Austin Mack going to throw to? No. The wide receiver room is really healthy. And I think it's probably still one of the most healthy units coming back in 2025. Isaiah Horton, baller. Yeah, he had a lot of success with Cam Ward, right? Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, Jalen Mbakwe, Rico Scott, Cole Adams, Jalen Hell, Bubba Hampton, Amari Jefferson, Latsier Brooks. So those are the wide receivers coming back. I think it's a healthy room. Now, the problem is, and T, if we could get a graphic up of the offensive line, okay? Look, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? If Alabama... If we come out to this season, by the way, if you're just joining us and you're like, what's happening? Jalen Milroe has declared for the draft. This is like covering like mega news, right? Yeah, this is mega news. But I'm going to tell you what, and don't let this, look, this is the truth. Not everything's going to be okay if you don't fix the right tackle position. Any of these 3 quarterbacks, probably better operating, I guess, or at least let's say Keelon Russell and Austin Mack. Let's say these guys can operate the offense at a very high level. But if you don't have a right tackle, these guys are going, look, I'll tell you what, Austin Mack being 6'7" or whatever he is, and Keelon Russell, being, I don't know, what is he, 6'2", 190? Jalen Milroe, that dude is an absolute unit. 235 pounds. I seen that last year he got sacked 44 times and the guy was never hurt. This year he was taking a pounding, never hurt. You can't say the same for these three individuals right here. They're not built like Jalen Milroe. So if you don't fix, and I think maybe even your right guard, Jaden Roberts is hurt. But man, if you don't get a right tackle, good night, Irene, to any of these guys. These guys won't last a season. So that is priority number one. Use your Yay Alabama money or whatever, however you have to pay these guys to get a right tackle. Because if you don't have a right tackle, it might not matter much because these guys won't last an entire season. I've already told you 1,000,000%. And Brian Robinson's like Austin Mack didn't come to sit. Yeah. I think it's going to be a hell. This is the most exciting quarterback competition that I think, I've been covering the team for. Man, how can you that's another good point. I saw someone inside say somehow get Ty Haywood. And Ty Haywood still has not decommitted from Alabama to my knowledge, right? He's the tackle that is either going to go to Michigan or Alabama, I guess. I don't know. But they need to fix it. Maybe that's why they haven't gone after a tackle. I don't know. Did we get the offensive line? All right. Here's the offensive line room, okay? You have Cam Dewberry who came in. I would assume that he plays guard, I guess, right? He's not going to, for those of you that say tackle, maybe he does, but he played guard at Texas A&M, right guard and left guard. Kane Proctor, Parker Brailsford, those guys coming back, Jaden Roberts coming back. Those are three gigantic pieces. Throw on Michael Carroll, that's four, right? I would imagine, I don't know who's better between Cam Dewberry and Michael Carroll, but Michael Carroll looked pretty damn good to me. So there's 4 or 5 good. I don't know if Cam Dewberry is good or not, but let's say he is because Alabama has him, okay? But who are you going to put at right tackle? Look on this board right now. You're going to put Elijah Pritchard at Welcome Formby. Conrad's like, what's up, Kyle? Did Jalen's father upset with Coach Kalen DeBoer? I have no idea on that. Jalen's father, just like any father, seems to be very spirited. So I have no idea about, it seemed to me like Coach Kalen DeBoer did everything possible, to make Jaylen Milroe happy. So I'm sure that, why would his dad be mad? Greg McElroy is better than Jaylen Milroe. I don't know who's better, Greg or Jaylen Milroe. So the next quarterback looks like 53% Ty Simpson, then 35% Keelon Russell. I have no idea. So look, the point is Alabama's offensive line right now, I think it looks good for right now, but unless you get a right tackle, it could be, curtains for any one of the quarterbacks. That's how dire it is. And I think when you look to next season's schedule, it's a more challenging schedule. And I think when you look to Alabama right now, the fact of the matter is they don't have a quarterback that has any type of experience. I mean, Ty came in last year against South Florida. He played a little bit against Wisconsin. He played a little bit against Kentucky last year. He played against Mercer. Who else did he play against? It wasn't that much. Austin Mack came in and played against Mercer. Alabama even had a walk-on play against Mercer. Mike's Mr. Optimistic, man. Formby could be a beast by next year. Now, offensive linemen do improve. Look what happened with Seth McLaughlin. Went to Ohio State as the worst center in Alabama history and came back and won the Remington Award, which goes to the best center in the country. How crazy that would be, like the equivalent to Wilcom Formby or Elijah Pritchett winning the best lineman award. DSGB is like, Kyle, don't stress about the schedule. I don't know, man. I used it as an analogy this morning, is that middle of the schedule, that looks tough to me. At Georgia, Vanderbilt, and then all these quarterbacks. All these quarterbacks are familiar names. I guess, who will be the quarterback at Georgia next year? I'm not sure. Maybe the Stockton guy or somebody else. Diego Pavia is back. Missouri got a transfer quarterback. Nico's back for Tennessee. Lenore Sellers is back for South Carolina. He's good. Garrett Nussmeier, he's back. Uh, Jonathan Meeks for Oklahoma, the best transfer guy. Eastern Illinois have no idea. What is Eastern Illinois' mascot? The Salukis? Is it the Salukis? And then Auburn, you got Jack. That's a hard ass schedule, specifically for a quarterback who's never played before. It's a Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Who? Oh, Southern Illinois must be the Salukis.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Southern.
Man, I love that. Yeah, that's
Billy the
yeah, that's what I
Panther.
thought. All right, yeah, okay. Southern Salukis is that's what's up. We've been rolling with the dogs lately. All right, what is Eastern Illinois' mascot?
Panther, Billy the Panther.
Billy the Panther, huh? I didn't know. A Saluki's like a dog, right? I think it's like with the dogs
Is
running.
a dog.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I like that. More like a wolf. Who knows? All I know is the schedule's tough. So, okay. So, to recap everything, if you're coming in, and a lot of times, if I recap stuff, think about it like this. People are watching shows at different point in time. Not everybody's been watching for the 26 minutes that we're streaming. So, they come in. So, to recap everything, Jalen Milroe has declared for the NFL draft. This is mega news in the Alabama world because of the obvious. This was a guy, who had the biggest smile, and he changed so much. I remember the first time that he came on and the first time we were able to interview him, man, he was like the best interview. But then the sports information directors got to him and he turned into a robot. And they like got into his brain and he wasn't himself. And then, he was dangerous at times. I'll always let me ask you this on a positive note before we bounce out on Jalen Milroe. What will you remember most in terms of like the positives? Let's put some options out there. Okay, let's put a poll. Okay, he beat Georgia twice. Oh, I think it'd be the Gravedigger easy. Gravedigger. I'm gonna put Lank on there. Jarvis is like Lank. Okay, so Gravedigger beat Georgia twice. What else? Is that it? Georgia, look. The thing about it is, he beat Georgia. Is there another option? What else is there? Lank, LSU games. Okay, he did. Okay, put LSU games because think about this. He ended his career rushing for 8 touchdowns. Derek Wilson's like the 8-day game. All right, Gravedigger. That's it. All right. So you don't even have to put a poll. It's straight up the Gravedigger. I mean, and Coach Saban said that you remember most for what you did against Auburn. So I have no idea. T, if we could get like one last graphic, and that is a graphic. I posted it on our Facebook channel, and this was a post like maybe 5 days ago. This is talking about Mel Kiper's top 5 quarterbacks in the draft. Let me ask you something, okay, for your NFL fans before we bounce out. What quarterbacks would you take before Jalen Milroe? Okay, that are on the board. All right, Shedeur Sanders, yes. Cam Ward, yes. Quinn Ewers, yes. Right, that's 3 quarterbacks. There's Jackson Dart, Carson Beck, Dylan Gabriel. Okay, I'm up to 6. Would you take Jackson Dart over Jalen Milroe? I don't know. You got to take Milroe over Jackson Dart. Okay, that's 6. There's another quarterback. Is he from Memphis?
Okay, it's in 5.
All right. I don't know. Because now I'm thinking, I mean, teams need quarterbacks, but how many? So, like, okay, do all these quarterbacks go ahead of Milroe? Yes, so let's put it like this. Do all these quarterbacks on the board right now? This is Mel Kiper's big board. Oh, Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord's a baller. Boise State quarterback. You know what? I liked Boise State's quarterback. Okay, so they're saying not Beck. Okay, there's one. Okay, so I'm going to write this down. I got the Sharpie out. Okay, so I'm going to say Shedeur goes for sure. Cam go, and I'm talking guys picked ahead of Milroe at quarterback, okay? Carson Beck, we'll say maybe. Okay, Quinn for sure. So we got Shedeur, Cam, Quinn, Dylan Gabriel, right? Mm-hmm. Gabriel, Jackson Dart. I don't know. Dart. Kyle McCord. I think McCord goes for sure. So I got 5 quarterbacks. I don't know. I have him probably, he's definitely a top 10 quarterback, I guess. This isn't the best quarterback class, so you have room to get in there. Jackson Dart, I don't know.
What about Garrett Nussmeier?
No, Nussmeier's coming back.
Okay, Drew Aller
from Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good. McCord, the only thing that makes me nervous about McCord is when he went interception crazy. Remember when he threw like 6 interceptions against Pittsburgh?
What about
Eli Holsting?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
What Ohio State
What about
guy?
Carnival Cruise guy saying will Paul Tyson will Paul Tyson transfer? Oh man, crazy. All right, well, it's a celebration, I guess, for Alabama football fans as Jalen Milroe announced for the NFL draft. Look, I'm excited to see where he ends up in the NFL. I think that the things that saved Jalen Milroe is clearly going to be the NFL Combine. And if I'm his agent and if I'm betting on Jalen Milroe, I think that the NFL Combine can absolutely increase his stock. Now, the Michigan game, I think, put a lot of question marks or kind of capped off a lot of what people already thought about Jalen Milroe. So, we'll see what organizations wants to take Jalen Milroe. But this is breaking news. Jalen Milroe is headed to the NFL. It's been, it's been a bumpy ride, right? The last, 10 weeks or whatever it is covering this has just been, it's been a lot. But there needs to be a change at the quarterback position. Jalen Milroe will go into the NFL, and we'll track news as it happens. I appreciate you guys being here for this breaking update. You enjoy. You got Keelon Russell on ESPN2, or is that ESPN Deportes?
2.
All right. And then you got Georgia, Notre Dame. Real quick, give me who wins this game, Georgia and Notre Dame. Type G for Georgia and for Notre Dame. I think Georgia wins. I think, what was it, Notre Dame? Aren't they like
1 point favorite?
Yeah, you got to think Georgia wins this game. Come on. I don't know. I think Georgia wins. What is it? It looks like it's all Georgia. But this is
Georgia.
But you got to think, most of us, number one, this is all like a SEC still family too. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, this is my last thing. You better hope that Georgia wins this game, because if Notre Dame wins this game, this is all they're going to talk about for the rest of their lives, is the fact that they beat the SEC champ and the fact that they don't play in a conference, but they can still beat the SEC champ. That will mean that Notre Dame will be in the playoffs for the rest of your life, period. So you better hope that the Georgia Bulldogs win today. All right. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy Keelon Russell. Enjoy the college football playoffs. Enjoy your life. Enjoy this beautiful blessing. Enjoy your pets. We'll keep you posted on Pearl. She's still posted up at the damn hospital in Birmingham. So we're trending in the right direction. But, if you have pets out there, pets are family. All right. Be good people. I'll be back as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. See you as news happens right here. Bama Football on YouTube.